welcome to my kitchen. I'm sweaty and gross and I don't want to show myself, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing. It is Saturday and I started off this project of canning chicken soup last night when I took out several packages of leg and thigh quarters that I had in my freezer that I bought like 2 years ago when they were like 39 cents a pound, and I think I bought 40 pounds of them. But I've used some over the last 2 years, so that's not how many I cooked. But I had several other pieces of chicken in the freezer that I needed to use up, so I cleaned out my freezer. I took inventory. I threw all of my chicken in the sink to thaw. And this morning when I woke up, I put all of the chicken in my 21 quart canning pot, and I made chicken stock. Now, the meat has been pulled from the bone, everything's been strained, everything's been chopped, and as you can see, everything's been jarred up. I'm doing quarts of chicken soup, and I figured you didn't need to see me chopping and shredding and making stock and all of that. We've already done stock in the past, and I'll put a link to that video so you can see how we did it. But I wanted to show you exactly how easy it is to make chicken soup and can it, because really you're making the stock by boiling the chicken. I didn't put very many seasonings in it at all. In fact, I put no salt, I put no pepper. I simply put all that chicken with filtered water. I put about a half of a bunch of celery, 4 carrots, and 2 onions that I simply quartered, and I left the skin on and everything. And I put, God bless you, sweetheart.
Thank you. And
I put a whole head of garlic that I cut in 4 pieces, and I just tossed it in the pot. And I strained everything, and I clarified the broth as much as I could. And you can see what I've done here. There is like a stalk of celery, 1 carrot, and half of a medium onion. Plus, I filled up the rest with the shredded chicken. I got 14 quarts of chicken soup makings here. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these up with my stock. And I'm going to fill them to within an inch. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to burp the jars. And we're going to put our hot lids and rings on the jars. And I have those all ready to go over on the stove. And you know me, I like to do assembly line work here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fill all these with chicken stock. And it's delicious. Rick's already tasted it. And he said it's perfectly seasoned. And I had to laugh because I didn't put anything in it. I'm going to do these 2 to show you. And then I'm going to go ahead and go and do the rest. And then I'll come back and I'll show you before we put them in the canner. I'm going to set these down here. Now that one is too full. So I need a turkey baster, but I'll just use this little baby ladle. This works very well. I'm going to take out the perfect amount and take out just a skosh more, maybe even a little more than that. That makes me happy right there. All right, now the one thing I am going to do different this time is, let me get this out. We're gonna wipe our rims right now, right after we burp everything, but I'm gonna wipe my rims with vinegar. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit of vinegar here in this measuring cup. I'm gonna get myself a paper towel, dip it in there, and then we're gonna do this. But you know what? There is still something I forgot to do. Dagnabbit. Let me get my canning salt. Alright, I am going to put a teaspoon, because for quarts we want to put a teaspoon. I want this to be seasoned, you know. I don't want it to be, so of course you can season it after you make it. It's not a big deal. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt. And that's all I'm going to put in there, because when I go to prepare this for a meal, as you know, my meal, I can do whatever I want. I can take this and use it as a base for tortilla soup. I can add to it a can of chopped tomatoes or a jar of chopped tomatoes, as well as some chipotle pepper, and then heat it up, and you're good to go. All right. Hot lid and ring, and into the canner it goes. And Rick has prepared my canner for me. He put the vinegar and the water in there for me, and this is all ready to go. I just need to wipe it off. And this is my vinegary paper towel. And the reason we use the vinegar is because the vinegar cuts down any fats that may be on the rim of the jar, thus making sure you're going to get a better seal, or the best seal. Now, for those of you who would like more information, I have never used the Tadler lids, but I'm going to learn because I have some that a friend of mine sent me. Bear Prepper actually sent me some about a year ago, and I've never used them, and I really need to. I especially need to learn how to use them because I just ordered a case of the silly things, so it's probably a really good time to learn how to use them. But look at how pretty that is. I just think that's beautiful. Now, when it's all cooked, you know, these vegetables are raw, so that's easy. The hardest part is making your stock and shredding your chicken. So I'm going to go right now. I'm going to fill up all these jars with chicken stock, and then when we come back, we'll be ready to put all of these in the canner and get everything going. Did I say I had to do before I wipe the rims and put the lid on? I have to burp the jar. I didn't burp the jar, so I've come back to show you.
My fault, I didn't remind her.
I asked him, please remember to remind me. Now, don't forget to burp the jar.
But nobody reminded me, so.
And he's getting tired because it's already been a long day. All right, here we go. All right, so we're burping the jars. We're putting them back in the canner. You want to get those air bubbles out of there. You want to make sure that that chicken stock is reaching every single point in the jar. And this is when it's going to start to look more like real chicken soup.
What's the golden rule?
The golden rule? The one with the gold makes the rules?
No, not that one.
What?
No, Sue's rule.
Oh, that's right. If you don't put botulism in the jar, you won't get botulism out of the jar. She's never going to live that one down. Ever. We'll be back. Okay. All 14 jars of chicken soup are in the canner, and the burner is on. We're going to vent this for 10 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and wait for the pressure to come up to 110 pounds. And since I have quarts, we're going to be canning these for 90 minutes. So when these are ready to come out of the canner, we'll be back and we'll show you what they look like. Okay, it is the next morning. Last night when these were done processing, I was tired, so I just turned off the burner and I waited for the pressure to come down, and then before I went to bed, I took the weight off and I opened up the lid and I just cracked it, make sure everything was okay. Everything was fine, and I let it sit. Now, I'm removing everything.
And tell them how they're still hot.
And they're still hot. I mean, they're really hot. I wouldn't want to touch them, so. I mean, this is not hot enough that I can't touch the divider. It is greasy. And it looks like they've all sealed. So I'm going to let these cool completely, and then I'm going to wash the jars because they're gross.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it gets that way. So anybody who's doing this for the first time, don't be alarmed. I mean, this happens. When you make spaghetti sauce or chili, it looks like you slaughtered something inside your can. Because there's quite a bit of transference. And there's going to be, if you think about the pressure process, you know, the only thing this ring is for is to keep that lid on. Because if that ring wasn't there, these would never seal, because those lids would just pop right off. And then you would have a canner full of jars and whatever else you put inside your jars. So, you know, it may not be pretty initially, but, and it may be a bit of a mess, because it's actually going to be something you have to clean up. Alright. And you can see inside the canner there's chicken soup in the bottom. So, you'll want to dump that out and wash it really good before you put it away.
Breakfast.
Well, no. Not for me. And before we leave you, and there's my 14 quarts of chicken soup that looks a little orangey, I'm sure, from the carrots. This is my first time making chicken soup like this, so I'm not really alarmed or upset. I'm just happy that I have 14 quarts of chicken soup, because to me this is 14 meals for my family. This is 14 go-to nights when I don't have to think about what I'm going to make for dinner. Because 1 quart of soup with noodles, rice, barley, or anything, you know, added to it to stretch it is going to be a meal with a green salad or a sandwich or a biscuit or a piece of bread or something. This is going to be a full meal for 4 of us. And because a quart is 4 cups, when you stretch that with a, you know, something in it, you put your noodles, like I said, your noodles, rice, barley. I could think of a bunch of things that you could put inside of soup that would make it lovely. You could make dumplings and put them in there. You could add some potato and simmer it in there until it was cooked. There are a lot of different things you could do. Like I said earlier, you can take a jar of this, add a jar of chopped tomato and some chipotle pepper, some chopped jalapeno, simmer it, serve it in a bowl with your tortilla chips, avocado, sour cream, cheddar cheese, and you've got tortilla soup on the fly. So, that was worth every ounce of effort that I expended making it. It was not easy. This is probably the hardest thing I've done so far, and it is simply because the process took so long. Making the broth, they're all waiting for their breakfast. This is early in the morning, I'm sorry. Hey! Miss Tally, I know we're messing up your schedule. I'm sorry.
These damn kids.
But before I go, I want Rick to pan over here. This is chicken fat, otherwise known as Schmaltz. Okay, I probably am not going to throw that away. I'm going to put this in the fridge and I'm going to let it solidify, and then I'm going to save it. Because this is prized, and it may sound gross to some of you, but I know that my friend Cat's Cradle actually uses this Schmaltz to make her pastry for her chicken pot pie. And in the Jewish community, Schmaltz is prized. This chicken fat, they use it in a lot of different recipes. And you know what? It's just like lard, only it comes from a chicken. Okay? So, I'm going to use that. And then, and you can see how it's separated. We've got the broth, we've got other solids here, and then we've got the Schmaltz that has floated to the top. So, that's that. I hope that I hope that the messy jars don't scare you off, because that will simply wash off after everything is cooled and you can clean it. But I hope this inspires you to go and try this on your own, because I definitely think it was worth every bit of effort that it took. So, I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya. I had to bring you back because, you know, I went ahead and I washed all my jars, and they're still warm, but I went ahead and I washed them anyway because I wanted to get through it. One thing I did notice was that the chicken that I put in there kind of all fused together, so I gave it a good shake, and it kind of dislodged it, and now it looks really beautiful, and it looks like you would really want to grab this off the shelf and eat it. Well, it looked so much like that.
We did.
That I called out to Rick. I said, "You want to be brave?" Because mind you, this is the very first time I've ever done this. Not the first time I've ever made chicken soup. I've made chicken soup a lot in my lifetime, but but I've never home canned chicken soup. So this was a great labor of love, I will say.
So we smelled it first. It smelled awesome.
It did smell delicious. Popped open the jar, and then we got a spoon, and like heathens, we just dug right in. And we were
OMG, I need a bowl.
Yes, so Rick and I both had chicken soup for breakfast.
And some ciabatta bread.
And some ciabatta bread that we got at the bakery yesterday. But you can see how beautiful this is. I was a little concerned at first because the broth looked a little orangey, but you can see now that everything is kind of settled and I've shaken it all up. It really does just look like golden, beautiful chicken soup. And you know what?
Noodles, rice, barley.
What we're going to plan on doing, I plan on 1 quart being 1 meal for my family of 4. But when you round this out with noodles, rice, or barley, or any number of other things, you can throw brown rice in here, you can throw any kind of pasta in here, it doesn't matter. Anything to stretch it, you're going to double it.
It'll be a nice hearty meal.
It will be a hearty meal. And it, you know, serve it with bread, sandwiches, biscuits, tortillas, cheese crisp, whatever.
Black rice with this.
Oh, black rice. Yeah, I went to the Asian market here locally and I bought a bag of black rice. Rick says go get it. Let me grab it. I've never had black rice before, but I love trying new things. The little Thai man who runs the place said it's like brown rice. You cook it like brown rice. It looks like bugs. I don't know if you can see it. It does. It looks like bugs. But my girls will never eat it. Yeah, they'll try it. They're sort of adventurous. I have to give them credit for that.
Oh, I'm gonna try it with the soup.
You know, we'll have to cook some rice up and then we'll have it with the soup. But in any case, I had to bring you back and show you how beautiful the soup is. It's absolutely gorgeous and it is delicious.
Perfectly seasoned.
So, you know what? And I didn't hardly put any seasoning in it except for salt. I was going to put some herbage in there and I didn't. I've learned from when we can Rick's spaghetti sauce, he puts a lot of different herbs in his spaghetti sauce. But the one thing I do notice is that when we can it, the rosemary becomes so
Even
prevalent.
Callie likes it.
Callie loved the chicken soup, didn't you? Yes, it's to show me happy tail. It's to show me happy tail.
Happy stuff.
Happy stuff. Huh.
Happy stuff.
Tie. Yay, this is my girl. Huh. Anyway, little puppy interlude. It's delicious and rich, and actually, I feel like it is so rich and unctuous that I could probably cut this with half of a jar of water when I go to cook it. Like I said, that along with whatever starch you're going to throw in there is going to really make a delicious meal for 4 people, and maybe even 5 if you wanted to stretch it that far. You could stretch it as far as you wanted to. Like we said on the honey hour the other night, you know, we may come to a point where meat is actually more of a seasoning than a protein in our meal. So it may be something to think about. Anyway, I'll let you go again. I just had to show you our delicious breakfast and tell you how wonderful this soup is. Please, 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 if you're considering canning chicken soup, please give it a try. All right. Till next time, I'll see ya.